Hello to all our viewers. Now let's talk about long pips with and without sponge. What's the difference? This is one of the most frequently asked questions. The brief answer is, when playing with long pips with and without sponge, you will feel a significant difference. And that's pretty much all there is to say about the difference between pips with sponge and without sponge. Next, you need to move on to practical testing during play. Because there is little sense in reading or listening to discussions on this topic if you haven't tried how it works in practice. This is one of those things that needs to be learned through personal experience, as a verbal description cannot convey the experience. Therefore, in this case, I recommend getting a couple of rubbers, one with a sponge, the other without, and trying out how they play and what the difference is. It's important that these are the same rubbers so that the only difference is the presence of the sponge. If you use different rubbers, they might differ greatly. These differences will affect the play, and you won't get a proper understanding of the role of the sponge. Cheap long pips cost almost nothing, and this is a great way to try the difference with and without sponge. Any decent rubbers will do, and the cheapest ones for this purpose are just as good as the most expensive. There's no need to pick something special. Just take a couple of rubbers, such as the Inher 955 or Neptune, one with a sponge and the other without, and simply try how they play. It's best to choose a sponge thickness of 0.5 or 0.7 mm for this, but a sponge around 1 mm will also work. Avoid using a thicker sponge. Thick sponges are meant for experienced players with an aggressive style or very strong defenders, while most players typically use thinner sponges, less than 1 mm. After you play, you will learn and understand a lot of things that cannot be read or heard. For example, which type of rubber you like to play with, which one feels more comfortable, and which style of play suits you better. These are things you can only feel through practice. If you have different blades with varying speeds available, try them in different combinations. This will help you understand the topic once and for all. The same rubber on different blades will play differently. This has to be tested with your own hands at the table. But if you really want to learn something quicker and right now, I'll tell you that long pips with sponge are much heavier than OX. Because the sponge adds approximately the same weight as the top sheet. This matters a lot. It's quite possible that you will feel more comfortable playing with a sponge and quite uncomfortable without it. Or vice versa. I mean the sense from the weight of the racket. Also, with a sponge, the feel will be noticeably softer. When I first tried OX, I didn't like it at all. It felt very unfamiliar and quite unpleasant. But now I play with it with pleasure. Without sponge, the pips have noticeably less grip, which also adds difficulty if you don't have experience playing with OX. Overall, controlling the ball with OX can be noticeably harder in some cases, while in others, it may be easier. Finally, I'll say that pips without sponge are neither worse nor better than pips with sponge. They simply play differently. Therefore, some people will prefer one, and others will prefer the other. It is impossible to know in advance which one you will like more or which will suit you better. You can't know that. You need to try, play, get used to the rubbers, try different technical techniques, and compare. I recommend playing for half an hour to an hour with each rubber first, and then for a week with each. Because if you are not familiar with the rubber, haven't gotten used to it, and haven't played with it for a week, your impressions may be mistaken. You may play for an hour, and not like the rubber. But if you play for 2 more training sessions, you'll get used to it and discover that it's actually great. This has happened to me multiple times, so keep this in mind. That's all for now. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to leave them in the comments. And visit our store more often for your purchases.